Ricky Bowser lining up again, showed dramatic improvement from start 1 to start 2. Your thoughts on the run?
Yes, he's improving, up and coming young horse, only 3. First start over 12, he was keen at the beginning, that's why he won't finish as much, but dropping back to 1,000 because the pace is different, so he settled well and we'll be able to finish.
Was adding the tongue tie one of those keys to helping him settle?
Yes, the tongue tie helps him a bit more control. That the jockey said that it helps a lot.
What about coming into this weekend? How's he trained on since his last run? You think he's improved further?
Oh, he's keep improving. He had a trial before this run, and it's just get him settled, and it's more relaxed now.
You debuted him rather over 1,200 metres. You think he's a horse that'll get back to 12 and up a bit further in time?
He's a horse from 1,000 to 12 and maybe eventually up to 14. That's how I see him.
Quick comment on Voyage Bubble. Is it all steam ahead towards Dubai in a few weeks?
Everything's in place. I'm more than happy with him. Really looking forward to his up and coming preparation before he takes off to Dubai.
You've engaged Barcelona as well, a jockey that you've always had a lot of time for. What was the thought process around engaging Mikhail?
Yeah, he's a jockey that I prefer to put Voyage Bubble on, especially suppose this jockey knows the track really well in Dubai. Yeah, he's a jockey that I would really like him the trial line.
When does he fly out to Dubai?
Horse is leaving on the 19th, early in the morning.
Mark Forever Charm lining up in race number 6. He's having his 4th run here in Hong Kong. He looks a relatively big horse. How's he settled into the Hong Kong way of going?
Yeah, look, I was really happy with his first run. Probably just found the ground a little bit firm and just probably needed a couple of runs to adjust to the pace and the firmness of the tracks here. But I was really pleased with his last trial. Something positive from him even out of the gate. And was strong all the way to the line. So he's going well. What is against us is where he's drawn on Sunday.
What do you look to maybe do from that draw? Because obviously he led up in that barrier trial, but that could be difficult this weekend from barrier 14 to use all that energy.
Yeah, look, I'll have a good look at the form in the next day and then decide, where he's best placed in running. But yeah, it certainly poses a few difficulties for him.
Do you think he's sort of found about his right mark now down in Class 4 as well?
Oh, look, I think so. I think he could probably progress upwards once, he's had a few more runs here. But he's always a horse I've liked. I had him in training in Australia as well. So look, he's certainly got enough talent, but it's just finding his right range here is probably what we need to do.
Frankie, Voyage Samurai, a pretty impressive winner on debut. Give us your assessment on the debut win.
Yeah, he looks good. He's a big horse, so the first start I put in 1400 and he big stripe, yeah.
What about him again this weekend? How's he come through that first up run? Is he trained on well?
Yeah, he looks everything's good, and same distance, and only this time he carry big weight 134, I think, yeah.
Do you see that being as a hindrance to him carrying that bigger weight this week?
I think for him should be no problem because he's got a big horse. He over 1,200 pounds here. Yeah.
He led up all of the way last time out. Is that his go, or has he got more strings to his bow? You think than just being a leader?
I think he can lead, or he can maybe just second, third, fourth. Should be no problem. Yeah.
Zach Beauty Eternal going into the Queen's Silver Jubilee Cup at the weekend, of course beaten by Voyage Bubble last time out, but what was your overall assessment of his run in the mile last time out?
Very good. Voyage Bubble's obviously an emerging horse here in Hong Kong, and it was no disgrace to run second to him. We know the mile is on the outer limits of his capabilities, and he was up for the fight and for as long as he could, and then just the class difference probably told in the end.
A couple of trials recently. Have you been happy with those?
Yeah, he doesn't do anything flash on the all-weather. He just gets out there and it's just ticking him over. As long as his action's good and he pulls up well, which has been the case.
What about back to 1400 metres this week? That's clearly been one of his pet distances. Do you believe that is where he is best effective at, 1400?
Yeah, I think so. So this is his chance. He's drawn a reasonable gate, so hopefully he just gets the right run, and it's not going to be easy going up against lucky Sweynesse. So he's going to have to be at his very best to be competitive there, but he gets his chance.
You're always well versed on all of the runners that you're competing against, but you do know lucky Sweynesse particularly well, a horse you've always spoken highly of. Firstly, what do you think ultimately led Connections to having a change this time round?
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to ask them that. Apparently I'm unlucky on the horse.
The tempo of the race ultimately played out against him last time out, but it was still a massive run on what he was able to produce the last 400 metres.
Yeah, it was. Listen, he's had a lot of racing in the last year, and sometimes he can be a bit slow out the gates, and when he's racing against 6 horses, it's not the biggest problem in the world, but when you've got 13 other horses and they all get in front of you and then they run outside of standard for the first and second sectionals, and you're stuck behind a heap of horses, there's just nothing you can do in that scenario. So that was unfortunately the way it played out for him, and he'll be better placed here up in trip, which I think he's been looking for a while, and in a smaller field.
You've always made your affection known for the horse, and you're obviously not going to pot him talking to me now, but where do you feel he's at the moment? Because from an outsider looking in, he doesn't look quite like he's racing sort of up to maybe some of his figures from last season.
Listen, he's just taken a little bit of time to get back to where he needed to get to fitness-wise, and he's just lost a bit more of that gate speed. So he can't get into the positions that he was able to get into last season as comfortably, and because of that he's getting a bit further back in the field. But he's just felt like he's wanted further for quite some time now, and I think the step up in distance is going to be a huge asset for him.
Your horse Beauty Eternal facing him this week at 1400 metres. Do you think he's got the goods to beat him this week?
Listen, if you look at figures and ratings, Lucky Sweynesse has got him covered. So Beauty Eternal is going to have to find something, but he gets to his best distance and he gets his chance.
Stellar Express lining up down the straight. You weren't on board for his first up run, but you've no doubt watched the replay. What was your sort of assessment on his first up outing?
Yeah, it was a good effort. He did everything right. He was in the right spot. He presented at the right time. It was a very good run. I've been on him in some trials early in his career, and then obviously the one recently as well, and he seems as if he's come on, so he's going to be competitive again.
A couple little side questions regarding that race as well. The straight course here at Chartin, is it still beneficial to be drawn high, or is that not much or not as much of a factor as it has been in previous years?
It depends where the false rail is. If the false rail is up, then the track becomes more even. If the false rail is down, then of course it's always an advantage to be on the outside fence.
Another question maybe about the slow times and some of the race that we've seen not only run here at Chartin and Happy Valley recently. What are some of the contributing factors to that? We've seen some really slow first sectionals, so that's obviously one of them, but is the track riding differently at the moment? Are the tracks riding differently at the moment?
Yeah, for sure they are. To me, they feel like they're a lot wetter than what they have been previously. They're holding a lot more moisture, so whether there's more water getting put on the track or whether it's the conditions of the weather that we've had this season, I'm not sure, but the tracks have certainly been softer. The horses have been getting into it. The track's a little bit more. It's creating a lot of biases as well. Sometimes you go to the races and you can't make up ground, you've got to be forward, or you've got to be inside, or the inside's off, you've got to be outside. And, I always feel these tracks in Hong Kong race best when they're bone dry, and that's reflective in the times as well. I know in some of the races we've lacked a little bit of speed. There hasn't been as much pressure, but the overall times, and they're just outside of standard all the time. It doesn't matter how fast it feels like you're going along in the race, they're still outside of standard. So I think the tracks are just a little bit too soft at the moment.
Interesting horse you've got lined up in the last race, Talent's Ambition. This horse here arrived with some Tamworth form. You must have been pretty encouraged by what you saw at Chartin a couple of weeks ago from him.
Yeah, look, I've liked this horse from the first day I saw him. I saw him win a maiden 2-year-old at Tamworth coming from last, and kept an eye on him after that. And the trainer, Cody Morgan, who trained him, I know him quite well, and I rang him and asked him if there was a chance to buy him, and we secured him. And I certainly haven't been disappointed since he arrived here. His trials were progressively better. His first run was very good, and he feels like he's come on again since then.
What about his gate speed? Of course, he did miss the kick in his first up run, and he missed the kick a little bit in his recent barrier trial. What can you try and do to maybe turn that around to get him out on an even keel with the rest of the field?
Yeah, look, he's a big horse, and it does take him a few strides to find his gears. But look, I think it's just experience. I mean, he came here as a horse that had only had one barrier trial and 2 starts in country New South Wales. And, that's only his 3rd race start. So, look, that'll progressively get better. He's drawn low on Sunday anyway, so even if he's a neck to half a length slow away, he should be able to take up a midfield position, hopefully.
You happy with the way he's come on since that first run and his trial and his track work leading into Sunday?
Yeah, I wanted to give him a nice gap to get over that first run, and that was the reason, a month between runs and just a trial. But I had a ride on him this morning, just really happy the way he felt, and he just relaxed really nicely through the work. So he'll certainly appreciate the step up in distance.